Thank you to the Comox Nation for allowing us to hold this here. And now, on with this, Novo Solar Systems, feel the power, not the pinch. I'm going to talk about the pinch a little bit. About a year ago, I read an article that said that Germany was producing almost half of their power, or a lot of their power from solar, and only 70% of the sunlight that BC had. And I thought, if they can do that there, we're going to start doing that here, and I'd like to be part of that. So here I am. That is what the tar sands look like. And this made me think of what is oil really? I mean, to me, everything in the world in its natural state has a reason. So there must be a reason for oil. But I think that reason exists below the ground. And it made me think of my own body and the blood that runs through my veins. If I cut myself and that blood starts coming out, first of all, I'm going to get stressed out about it. But secondly, if there's a bunch of blood laying around on the ground, it becomes toxic and people can get sick from it after a while. And I think that's what we see here. That's a huge wound. You see the oil on the surface, it's toxic. I don't know what purpose it serves within the earth, but I think it should stay there. And we all have to change some things in order for that to happen. And I'm one of them. I'm not pointing fingers. That's horrible. We live our lives, and this goes on all the time so that we can do what we do. We don't see this kind of stuff. That's a tailing pond. We just heard in the news about that one failing in it, and toxic waste going everywhere. This one, I believe, was near the Athabasca River on native land, and they were saying earlier that a lot of the indigenous people are, this is happening all over the world against their will, and they're being poisoned. We're being poisoned. It's not just them, it's everybody. I was really happy that this happened. I know that sounds silly, but it was a very small little spill. And I bet you Kinder Morgan has a hitman out on the guy who was running that ship because it's going to make it really difficult for them, as it already was. But the point I want to make about this is that they were saying earlier about transportation and how that's 33% of our pollution, and it's true, but it's not just our cars. Those ships burn bunker C fuel, which is the lowest grade of diesel oil that you can burn, and if you're on Saturna Island and they're going by and the wind's blowing at you, it's horrible. It smells horrible, the exhaust from these things. So there is a movement to actually make these ships more green because thousands of them travel around the planet bringing cargo all over the place. So that's another thing that we need to look at besides just cars. Things like this need to happen. That's all I can say about that. I mean, hemp can replace a lot of the things that we, like oil, different chemotextiles that we use and that sort of thing. And we need to start bringing that back. And also, it grows, I think you have 3 or 4 crops a year. That absorbs carbon. This is a really high quality, well-designed LED. It's got liquid in it, and it keeps it cool so you don't have a shield around it. And you get 360-degree light. They go up to about equivalent of 150 watts. And I'll talk more about that after. Now, here's an interesting thing. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because, this solar panel here has been around for a while, and they're getting better all the time, but they're still only 18% efficient. But it's twice as efficient as a regular solar panel. Because probably it magnifies and so on and so forth. So this house here, that was November, December 2013, they paid $705 for 2 months of electricity. Now, we were going to put panels up on that wall, or that roof up there, but it's kind of oddly shaped and it's shaded in some parts of the day by that middle roof. So instead, she needed some shading on her patio there, so we put that post and beam roof that matched her house there. But also, I'm a journeyman glass worker. What we did was we put heat reflective glass in the gable there so that when the sun shines, it actually reflects back down onto the panels. We created a big dead air space up there, so the heat escaping keeps that area warm so it doesn't escape as fast, therefore it doesn't suck as much cold air in. So now she's paying $335 for 2 months, the same time this year. So, and we did some other things. Just recently, we took 2,920 watts of incandescent lighting out of the house and replaced it with 289.6, and she's got better lighting. It's brighter, it's nicer. So that is a 8 kilowatt system. The other day he produced 50 kilowatt hours in one day in Langley. If you use all of the power, then you start drawing from hydro. And if you produce more than you can use, then it goes back into the grid. You get paid 10 cents a kilowatt hour. That's how it works. And that house there only has a 4 kilowatt system, and they, on March 31st, fed back to the grid because they were away. This is just a little interface from my iPhone. There's a much more in-depth one that's available on a computer or laptop or whatever, but from anywhere in the world, pretty much, I can see what my customers are doing, and so can they. That one there is half of an 11 kilowatt system, and he's got a battery backup system so that if the power goes out, which it does in Saturna, because that has to be able to shut off when the power goes out, otherwise someone working on the lines will get electrocuted because it'll feed into the grid. So it cuts off, nothing's running, but he's got a battery backup system that it's involved, but anyway. Awnings are very important. You can shade areas and reduce air conditioning costs dramatically. See that little thing there that's a solar powered sun sensor. This is over a skylight system, so it used to get extremely hot in there. They couldn't keep up with the air conditioning. When the sun comes out, that closes automatically. And you can still see through it almost perfectly. It's like sunglasses. This is a huge expanse. It's about 40 feet tall. And those are sunshades. And this is a picture of them going down. And then when they get all the way down, you can see through them quite well. And so this ceiling is 35 feet tall. They could not keep that place cool, even with air conditioning. They had the air conditioning running constantly in the summertime. This is in Hope. They don't use the air conditioning anymore. It reduces the heat gain by 75%. This is encouraging. Ontario's coal-powered phase-out has helped reduce particulate air pollution across the province by 30% in 10 years. Smog advisory days in 2005 were 53. 2014, 0. So we're making progress. Ontario's got an amazing solar plan. They pay 81 cents a kilowatt hour when you feed back. We're 10 cents here. So the pinch is everything I just talked about. We try to help people reduce or eliminate their footprint on the planet without changing their lifestyle dramatically. That's what the pinch is. And so we wholesale LED light bulbs, really good quality ones. And we do solar and shading. So anyway, thanks for listening. I hope I said something that was worthwhile.